If you're a long-time watcher of the channel, you'll know we've been to Kenwood House before, but on both occasions the house was closed and it was the Christmas decorations going right round the outside grounds that we were interested in. But today we come back, as promised in those videos, and we come inside Kenwood House. What is Kenwood House? It's a striking neoclassical villa right on the edge of Hampstead Heath. We're going to show you a remarkable art collection, which includes some very, very famous painters, and also we're going to show you some bits and pieces like in this room here, plus also we're going to give you a tour of the grounds, so don't go anywhere because the grounds are absolutely beautiful. Most of the artwork in Kenwood House are major scale full oil paintings, but here these are buckles found on shoes, so it really is quite an eclectic collection when you come into this room. Yeah, these are all buckles worn on various shoes. Quite a collection, eh? The first Kenwood House was built by the King's printer, John Bill, who bought the estate in 1616. The house was probably rebuilt and passed down through several hands before it was bought in 1754 by William Murray, who was the Lord Chief Justice from 1756 and was created the first Earl of Mansfield in 1776. He employed the famous architect Robert Adam to expand the existing house and to decorate its interior and exterior. Now the library, which we're going to show you a little bit later, is widely acknowledged to be one of Adam's finest interiors, and it is beautiful, so stay watching for that. Following the first Earl of Mansfield's death, Kenwood passed it to his nephew, who continued his uncle's work on the house, employing Humphrey Repton to remodel the grounds. As different Earls of Mansfield died and it was passed down through succession, the later Earls of Mansfield only visited Kenwood intermittently, preferring to use Scone Palace, which was their seat in Scotland. And in the early 20th century, Kenwood was let out to tenants, including the Grand Duke Michael Mikhailovich of Russia, grandson of Tsar Nicholas I. In 1910, the house was sold, and it was bought by Edward Cecil Guinness, the first Earl of Iver, and the home was part of his collection of paintings, and the home is now in the care of English National Heritage, and believe it or not, it's completely free to come in. So if you're an English Heritage member, a bonus, but if you're not, have no fear, it is completely free to come in and see these incredible paintings, some of which we're about to show you, masters on the wall here. The second Earl of Mansfield wanted to really impress, so this room was turned into the dining room where lots of great art was put. Now we're going to have not just a Rembrandt to show you, but also a Van Dyck as well, which is the top painting is a Van Dyck. The painting at the bottom here is a self-portrait by Rembrandt. Yes, a Rembrandt. We now move out of the dining room and we're going into the dining room lobby, and the painting right bang in the centre is a J.M.W. Turner. But just look at the decorations here on the floor, but then as you look up, you not only have you got this sort of work on the ceiling, but you've also got an area from upstairs. You can look right down into the dining room lobby, which therefore means if you own the house, you can look down and see who's there waiting to be fed. Before making your grand entrance, of course. We now come to one of the most impressive rooms here at Kenwood House, and this is the new library, or the Great Room, and was built between 1767 and 1770 by Robert Adam, and as said earlier, is considered to be one of his finest pieces of work of art ever. And just look at those paintings above the books, and that's down the other end as well. We'll swing around and show you that in just one second, but just look at the detailing on the ceiling. The room's design, which is an unusual shape for the room, which is a double cube with semicircular apses and cove ceilings at both ends, was inspired by the architect's interest in antiquity and also by his travels in Italy, and the ceiling in particular in the form and style of those of the ancients. When the Great Room was completed, it's the largest room here at Kenwood, and it was immediately admired by contemporaries. The Ambulator, or the Stranger's Companion in a tour around London in 1782, described how the new room latterly built by his lordship from a design of Mr. Adams is considered by architectural judges, as well as for its proportions and decorations as its novelty, to be superior to any other thing found in England. One thing I did find out when I was here, the library is not always open for view, so if you're coming down specifically for that, you might just want to call ahead to see if the library is going to be open. Our next part of the house that we're going through is the south front rooms. These are absolutely stacked full of paintings, as you can see here. But within each room, there's a guide showing you what the different paintings are. But just be aware, they do move the paintings around a little bit. So if you're trying to look for a particular painting and it's not in the book, it could be that you just need to ask someone for help. And there's always people around to answer your questions and tell you more about the paintings. That's the great thing about English heritage properties. Now, as we go through these rooms, you're going to see an incredible amount of paintings, and there's no way you can take everything in the first go. And what I actually did was I completed the tour, which didn't take too long, but then came back and then did it again and found other bits and pieces that I didn't even realise that were there. So it's worth taking your time or doing it a couple of times. And of course, because it's free, you can come and go as many different times as you like. And because this is above London Bridge and an old painting in the style of London Bridge, that was one of my faves. So not only have you got historic artwork, you've got historic timepieces as well. And not just the historic timepiece, but look at this mother of pearl cupboard that it's sitting on, right here in the middle of the exhibition. We now come into the music room, and this is where ladies would withdraw here after dinner, joined later by the gentlemen for tea, music and a view of the gardens, and was completed in 1796. Now in here you've got works, some very famous works, including Gainsborough's Mary and Countess Howe, and works by Reynolds, Romney and Hopnier. If you're coming down to Kenwood House, you want to do it on a beautiful day, because that's the best way to see Kenwood House, not just on the inside, but on the outside as well, because there is no tour complete without a beautiful look at the Kenwood House gardens, which are sprawling. So they're well worth taking a visit. And that's what we're going to do between now and the end of the video. Kenwood House gives fantastic views across London, because don't forget, it's right at the top of Hampstead Heath, and we'll get those views in just a couple of seconds. Really hoping you're loving our visit here to Kenwood House, and if you are, do us a favour, will you give us a thumbs up so we can get this video spread out to more people on YouTube. And if you've not subscribed to the channel already and you're watching our videos, you might want to think about it, because we've got so many London videos still to come on this channel, plus with Christmas things to come very, very shortly as well. And I love the way you walk through this hedge tunnel and then you come out and the gardens open up in front of you with the massive lake as well. Don't worry, you're going to go for a walk around that very shortly. But if you like tree tunnels and you like your foliage, you want to be in the shade and just be one with nature, this is a beautiful avenue of trees to walk under. The woods in and around this area are believed to be part of an ancient woodland, possibly dating back to Saxon times. And in the medieval period, they were part of the Great Park of Hornsey, which is the deer park of the Bishops of London. And the area remained woodland until the 17th century. And some of the oak trees here and on Hampstead Heath may actually date from this time or even earlier. Now, the meandering system of paths which are through the grounds were laid out in the mid-18th century, and these were done to provide a series of walks ornamented with seats so people could get out and about and walk whilst they were staying here at Kenwood House. And although the route of some of these walks has changed, others are probably quite original, and we're going to do some of those through some of the woodland very, very shortly. The area we're looking at now is the service wing. You can go in there and you can see some of the original things from those old ages in the service wing. Plus, they've got a lovely cafe in there, so if you fancy taking a break, that's where you go and have your break and have a coffee and sit back and chill. Right, we're down by the lake, and how about this beautiful bridge going across? Yeah, here at Kenwood House on the lake. Now, how beautiful does that bridge look? Yeah, all is not quite as it seems, and can you see any people walking across it? You can't. This is the sham bridge, and it's only two-dimensional. This Grade 2 listed bridge, or not as the case might be, was built as the finest view in the kingdom, but had to be repaired and restored several times. The actual bridge you cross is about 20 or 30 feet behind it, but it's literally just set up to give you a fantastic view over the whole pond area here at Kenwood House. Kenwood House is one of those places that just asks to be explored, not just in the house and looking at the artwork as we have done already, but when you're out and about as well. Now, these woods are on the other side of the lake that we showed you, and you can just get around them quite easily. They're open in the, here we go, we're now coming back over the pond and back into the main grounds. And don't forget to take the fantastic views over here as well, looking at the wildlife that have adopted the pond for their home. Hampstead Heath, I think, is just probably one of those little oases of London that doesn't get thought about much. Why? Because it's the largest place of greenery within the London area. But not only that, it's up high, so people don't necessarily think of it. But once again, it's an amazing place to explore with places like this, the pergola, which we've shown you already. Plus, not only that, but you've got Hampstead Village, which is down the road as well. So it's a great place to come and explore if you've not been to Hampstead already. And just look at the views of the house back from over the grounds. So what did you think of Kenwood House? I can't believe that I've not actually been in here before, yet it's been sitting here for so many years, giving great views from the top of Hampstead Heath. Anyway, do let us know in the comments down below. And isn't it incredible? It's absolutely free to come in. Now, if you love the great artwork, have we got some more fantastic artwork to show you? And it's at the National Portrait Gallery, which has been refurbished and reopened recently. So if you click on the video, I'll see you in there.